Hello everyone, this is Nicola from Archangel RC, and today I am very excited to be reviewing the new Hubson Spyhawk FPV plane that comes as a ready-to-fly package. This was sent to me by Banggood, and you can find the purchase links below in the video description, as well as a link to the full review on my blog. So onto the plane now. I have to say I expected a lot less from this plane, and yeah, first takeoff was a bit of a letdown. That was the problem was with me. I didn't throw it strong enough, so, and also in manual mode, not stabilized. And after removing the water and grass from the wings, second attempt was more successful with a nice strong chuck in the air, and there it goes, flies off. That's about the only not perfect part about this plane. Takeoff, it really needs a good push, and probably would be best if you can just toss it up in the air at a higher angle. Once airborne, this plane is very difficult to bring down. I mean, it glides very well. I wasn't able to make it stall in the stabilized mode. I only flew it in manual mode for a brief moment to trim it out. Other than that, stabilized mode is pretty sweet. Seriously, this plane flies amazingly, and as you can see here, it can be slowed down quite a bit. And keep in mind, this was a very windy day. Mostly was trying to fly against the wind, at which point the plane really slowed down. And here you can see me coming in for a landing. Motor is off at this point, and I'm trying to stall the plane to kill some speed and land it early, and it just glides in very easily. Second flight, I was ready to test the return to home function. I was really curious about that and how well it will work, as well as the failsafe, and apparently they both work. Seriously, there's one thing though that you have to keep in mind. When the plane returns, see, second launch, actually this is third takeoff, and this time in stabilized mode, no problems whatsoever. So back to the return to home function. Once the plane goes through that home point, it switches automatically back to stabilized mode, does not hover over the home point. So keep this in mind in case you fly far and you flip the return to home button, or it goes into failsafe and it flies itself back. It will not hover over your head waiting for you to take it. You will have to stay on it and take control. Once it goes through the home point, it switches to stabilized mode and it will fly away, or fly, you know, depending on altitude, probably fly in the other direction far enough to get out of RC range again, at which point it will go into failsafe. If you have enough battery, it might come back. If you don't, it might not. Now this here is the range test. The first attempt, as you can see, my 2.4 radio antenna was not oriented properly, so I only made it about 1.2 kilometers out. I think the exact distance when the failsafe kicked in was 1270 meters. So that was still more than was advertised. Now keep in mind that I'm flying in an area that is free from interference from any sources. So if you're in the city, you probably get a shorter distance on the radio. Given that the video is using a directional antenna, you'd probably be able to do over 1 kilometer in the city as well, although I'm not sure about the radio. Now you can see the return to home kicking in. This is the plane losing radio link. This is 1.2 kilometers from the takeoff location, from where I'm sitting. It turned around and I waited for it a little bit, and at some point, I think it was 900 or 800 meters from me, I took control of the plane, and as you will see, I will circle back and do another attempt, but this time, if you look at the top left corner, this time I will put the radio antenna upright, and the second attempt was a lot more interesting. I certainly wasn't expecting such a performance from a ready-to-fly package, and I was very skeptical about the advertised 1 kilometer radio and video range. You don't really get something like that for this price, ready to fly out of the box, and this is literally ready to fly out of the box. I didn't need to calibrate accelerometers, I didn't need to calibrate compass or radio sticks. Everything was working pretty well out of the box, and this is me turning the plane around for the second range test. And like I was saying, very surprising results. This plane definitely worth every single cent that you pay for it. Absolutely. If Bangor didn't send this to me and I knew that it was that good, I'd probably buy it anyway. This is how good this is, and I've been into FPV for a long time, and I have some pretty serious planes, but this, you literally take it out of the box, plug in the wing, charge the battery, put some batteries in the remote control, which will also accept a Taranis size, Turnigy size 3S LiPo, and go flying. And not only that, you will soon see exactly, I'm now way past the point where it previously fail-safed, and I'm thinking this should be now hitting the 1.6 kilometer mark, at which point my legs did get a bit shaky, because this is nearing twice the advertised range. Now, true, there's no interference where we were flying that day, but still. And look at this. Now, at this point, I flipped the return to home switch, and that was at 1.8 kilometers from the takeoff location. And just to verify, because I didn't trust the OSD readings, I was still getting telemetry. You can see the takeoff location on the right, return to home location on the left, 1.8 kilometers in a straight line. This is bloody impressive. I seriously had a hard time believing it made it that far. That's why I checked with Google Earth. And now for the landing against the wind, you can see how floaty this thing is with the motor stopped. Really glides in easily. Very happy with it. Next day, me and my better half went to a romantic getaway for the day in the countryside. We went to a beautiful spot called Govedarci. It was near where I live, well, about an hour from where I live. And we took the plane with us because it was so damn easy to fly and to get ready for flight. Just charge the battery and go flying. Nothing else needed. You just have to remember to point the radio at the plane. And incidentally, this is actually her first flight ever on anything RC. You can see that true, the plane is in stabilized mode, but she's never touched the remote control before. She's never flown a plane before, and she was flying it with a bit of confidence, without panicking. There was less wind than the day before, but still, look at that. This is a person that has never flown anything before, and they take the radio. You just have to explain to them what they should be doing, and once they fly for a few minutes to get a feel for what the stick does, I even told her to look at the screen and try to fly it that way as if she's in the plane. And that's another thing, this radio is amazing. It's at least a 7-channel radio. The only thing that they have wrong is the GPS switch. It's not the one that's labeled GPS, it's actually the A switch, like it's in the manual. Right now I'm going to ask her to test the return to home function, and I'm going to show you how the plane switches from return to home to stabilize. Okay, going to return to home mode, and now it will fly back, and you will see in a second that once it goes through the home point, it will switch back to stabilized. And I did tell her to point the video camera at the plane, so it was a bit of a funny situation as she was turning around chasing the plane, and I was chasing her basically, so I can shoot the screen so you can see the mode change. Was interesting, definitely, but she was flying it well, and she didn't panic at any point. The plane really flies well and is really easy to fly. There we go, from return to home to stabilize, all on its own. So you have to keep this in mind, and you have to take control once it does that, otherwise it will just disappear in the other direction. From that point on, I took control of the plane and had some great fun with some horses that were walking nearby. And really, I just want to get back to the screen of that radio is amazing. Amazing. Even if the sun is shining directly on it, you can still see it very well. I was very surprised by this. I love it. And you can see how much I loved it. Just look at that. I'm flying low above horses, and now I'm gonna chase these cows, and that must have been the funniest moment that day. Just look at that. There goes the cow, and then the next one, once they hear the motor of the plane, and now we can see them on the big screen. I don't think these cows have ever run that fast in their lives before. That was bloody hilarious. I was laughing my ass off while flying. Thank God I didn't crash. And so it was so funny. I did another pass, only this time I tried to glide the plane and only switch the motor on once I was above the cow, so you can see their reaction here. Very funny. So to sum it up, this is absolutely the best ready to fly package I can imagine. The camera, just look at this. The conditions are not optimal, but look at that stop frame. It's crisp, it looks good. It's an amazing quality full HD camera on a ready to fly package. I wouldn't have expected as much. Seriously guys, this plane is worth every cent, and I'm not saying that because it was given to me for free. This thing is amazing, and I'm gonna keep it for a long time, because at probably 2 kilometers range out of the city, this thing is gold for ready to fly, and very easy to catch in the air. So if you want to read the full review, please visit my blog at archangelrc.blogspot.com. And one other extra, you can turn on and off the LEDs from the radio. Like I said, very nice product.